Hello and welcome to the third episode of Stonescast, the monthly Wealdstone roundup show in the 2019-20 season. The month of October was certainly another decent month for Wealdstone as we sit 7 points clear at the top of the National League South. This month's show has stacks of new and exclusive content for you Wealdstone fans, including an exclusive interview with Wealdstone top goal scorer Ross Lafayette, as well as some exclusive content where you hear from Joe Ringer and Eric Lopes, two former Wealdstone under-18s players that have made it into the first team in recent weeks. Joe and Eric were both involved in the opener of the Middlesex Charity Cup for the Stones earlier in the month. They featured in a 5-1 victory against CB Hounslow United here at the Vale. And also in league action, Wealdstone played only 2 National League South games during the month of October due to the busy FA Cup period. That was away at Chelmsford, which was a 3-1 victory and a convincing one at that, as well as a home victory against Tunbridge Angels, also a 3-1 victory. But the FA Cup was where most of Wealdstone's energy went during the month of October. They played 4 games, that was 2 replays, after a 0-0 draw at Bristol Manor Farm in the first week of October, and also later in the month when we drew 1-1 at Maidenhead. The replays were both at the Vale, and Wealdstone won the first replay against Bristol Manor Farm 4-0, a convincing victory again there for Dean Brennan's men. Unfortunately, were knocked out later in the month from the competition in the 4th qualifying round after a 2-0 defeat to Maidenhead United here. 2 goals from Josh Kelly, sending the Stones out of the competition. Billy Clifford was the main star during the month of October for the Stones. He scored 3 goals and made 2 assists in 6 competitive games during the month. In his birthday month as well, he celebrated with Stuart Maynard on the 18th of October earlier this month. And let's not forget also that Billy Clifford was the October Player of the Month. He was voted by Wealdstone supporters earlier this week, and he's also got 2 nominations in the October Goal of the Month. That was his goals against Bristol Manor Farm in the FA Cup and his excellent free kick against Chelmsford City back at the start of the month. Stone's top goal scorer Ross Lafayette scored a pivotal goal away at Maidenhead in the first fixture of the Emirates FA Cup 4th qualifying round tie. We'll be talking to him later in the show to discuss his thoughts on the season so far, as well as his recent injury that he picked up. Before we talk to Ross though, here are your 8 nominations for October's Goal of the Month for you to choose from. Those were your 8 nominations for the October Goal of the Month. Go and check the first link in the description to make your vote. I'm delighted to be joined by Wealdstone's top goal scorer, Ross Lafayette here. A couple of coffees and just having a little bit of a chill out. What have you gone for, Ross?
A little espresso, a bit of rocket fuel needed to keep me ticking over for a hell of a day. So I appreciate it.
For a bit of context, it's Friday night at about 6:30 and we've all been to work today.
We've been working and just loving life. So coffee time should be beers, but rehab is on the cards tomorrow. So yeah, all good.
Let's go for this anyway. Ross, firstly, evaluate your season so far. How do you think it's been?
Yeah, I've been pleased. I think new club, new environment. Although I've obviously played it before, I think the personnel that we've got on board and how the gaffer's positioned it. For me personally, I think I'm on 12 goals now in all competitions, and I feel like the squad and being part of such a because what's the word? Like a nucleus of a team that's really kind of got that self-belief. We're obviously top of the league. You had a fantastic run. I think it was 9-10 games unbeaten. To be a part of that and kind of how we've been performing has been great for me.
Absolutely, and as you say there, I think 11 goals all competitions and 8 in the league. So a fantastic start. And how do you think it's been with everyone sort of gelling together pretty quickly with this new squad? Yeah,
I think Gaffer's done it where we've kind of typically most games have had the same starting 11. So obviously through repetition, through games, through training, you get to know each other's moves and that sort of stuff. But I think as a team, as a squad, we've really gelled really well. And it's kind of, for me personally, it's nice because I don't have to go and do running the channels and all that sort of nonsense. Then and speed merchant will kind of get onto those bits and just put the ball in the box for me to go and attack. And I think that's where obviously I've got a lot of my goals and to have the backup of the boys like Greeny, Bill, Con, etc. We're blessed with a really, really kind of strong squad. But yeah, it's been good for me and as the team's started well.
Obviously, you joined later in the summer, just before pre-season. But it almost feels like this team was built around you in a sense, with all the creative players and, as you say there, the pacey players in the channels. Do you feel that sort of way as well? Yeah,
I feel fortunate that, as a squad, as a nucleus, we've got the technicians behind me. And like I say, the boys will stress 2-touch with me now. Gone are the days I think where I tried to run a guy in pre-season, and I showed my age there. So you know what your strengths are, and I just leave those guys to kind of, like I say, either slip me in or put something that I can go and attack. And that's been reason why I've been able to play so many minutes. Unfortunately, obviously I'm injured at the moment, but the boys showed at the weekend that with or without me we're good, and it's thankfully it suits me. Crosses come in, and that's like what I enjoy.
You mentioned there your injury and that you've got rehab tomorrow and things like that. I think the gaffer said you're out for a couple of weeks, at least 2 to 3 weeks. How's it going for you?
Yeah, obviously saw the physio on Sunday morning, early start, and unfortunately, it was 2 to 3 weeks. It's kind of the diagnosis. But rehab is boring. I've been there. I've done my ACL when I was younger, so it's a lonely time because obviously the boys in the training pitch, the boys are playing, and you can only support. And but yeah, personally, it's been good. Like thus far, touch wood, it's been pretty good, and I just got to keep on it, and hopefully I'll be back quick as I can.
I don't think it'll be as lonely as you think because we have so many players out injured at the minute. I think it's 6 or 7. But obviously, it's a credit to you either way that you should be quite fortunate actually, just for the fact because you've played so many games already. To only have this, and hopefully, as you say, touch wood, this will be it now for the foreseeable future. How does that show your fitness?
Yeah, I feel like I had a good pre-season. Gaffer loves, what was it, 6 laps in 5 minutes. I don't know who the hell he thinks we are, but like that, it was mental. He was moving crazy. A few lungs got coughed up, but thankfully I feel strong. I feel good, and I did a lot in the pre-season in terms of like strengthening myself. So you have to do it this time because you don't really get to do it in season, because especially the games, and it's been relentless like the league. I think without the added cup and I scored my penalty, we wouldn't have had another replay, but it goes into the kitty for fines. But it's been good. Like I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. Obviously frustrating this little setback, but thankfully caught it in time, so it's not as bad as it could be.
And let's talk about from the start of your career. I want to kind of build our way up to this point. So obviously, when you first started, as you said there, you'd done your ACL when you were younger, and you played for sort of the local sort of North West London home counties sort of teams. And then you got your big break, I'd say, at Hemel. And that was with Dean, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, so I was playing with Breno. I guess he was our number 10. Well, I was the 9, he was 10. He was brilliant to play with, reverse passes, kind of teaching the tricks of the trade that you kind of need to that nous to kind of develop. And you can see kind of the way we play. He tries to implement that, and he's got kind of the players that he likes and how he sort of played. So I was lucky to play under those guys and Maynard and stuff, and started at Hemel, and that was good. And I learned a lot there because I've just come back from like a big injury, and it's kind of I never really played that high at that point as well. So it was good to get that under my belt. So yeah, it was good.
And that must have been your first encounter with the two, Dean and Maynard.
Yeah.
Was that something that attracted you later on in times with Billericay and with us?
Yeah, I think Billericay one was a tricky one because it was kind of there was a project there at the time, being at Sutton. For whatever reason, it was working out at Sutton, but then the manager changed his mind, and that's fair enough. That happens in football. And Billericay came with that project, and I was like, you know what, work with these guys for the first time as a management group now. Wrong decision. The club's like thankfully now going through a process, tricky time being there. But thankfully it's working out here. You can see the difference of they've been given the backing, the players are given the backing, and that's now shown on the pitch, which is good.
And we'll talk about after Hemel, you went to Welling and won the Conference South. So you've got that experience under your belt. Yeah. How was that? What sort of feeling was that when you won that?
Yeah, that was my best time in football, playing at Welling. The freedom that I had under the manager, Jamie Day, similar to what I've got here. Had my best return of goals. I think I got 24 in all comps. Winning the league, best experience you can ever have in football. Those teammates are still like some of my good friends, however many years back it was now. But yeah, still speak to them, still follow them. It was a great experience. The fans down there, owe them a lot because they're like the Wealdstone fans, passionate, really drive you through, and that's kind of what you need as a team. And it was a great time for me personally. Like obviously gave me my break to go pro as well.
Yeah, you talk about your break there to go pro. You went on to Luton Town, of course. Yeah. What was that experience going from the Conference and Conference South to the Football League? Yeah,
again, that's what every boy, if you play football, you want to do is go pro, right? I did it late, so at 27, best and worst time. Because I guess you don't see the stuff off the pitch where mentally it's quite tough. And obviously now it's kind of in the scope of mental health and that sort of thing. But at the time, I finally got to go pro and I didn't really get many minutes. But you learn from it, and I think it's made me a better player, to be perfectly honest. Those setbacks, I think, you need that life. Now I'm older and wiser. I can see that you need the failures, you need those things that make you a better player and work on things. You can't take yourself for granted. So as much as it was fantastic to play in 10,000 a week at Luton, it was a brilliant experience. Delighted obviously to play. Obviously I didn't get as many minutes as I liked, but that's life, and you move on.
Of course, then you drop back down into the conference. I think times at Eastleigh, and as you mentioned, there's Sutton.
Yeah.
Obviously, playing in the level above that you are now.
Yeah.
Were there other things you were learning was there anything in the conference that you didn't even learn in the Football League, or were you just sort of testing your craft?
Yeah, I guess the majority of my football really and truly has been at the conference level. As much as I had a few games off the bench and whatnot in the league, I think that's where I already kind of learnt my trade. As a target man, where to run, how to hold people off, those sort of things. And the conference again is the same as this league, relentless. You got to be on your A game every game, otherwise you lose. And we've seen that in the season where, unfortunately, a couple of mistakes we lost to Havant. It was frustrating to break the run, and that's what will happen. Hopefully we get promoted this year. That's the plan. That's the aim. But hopefully if there is some experience, I can pass on to the younger boys. But thankfully the boys behind me, like the Greenies, Billy, they're experienced players. They know kind of how to handle themselves on the pitch. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure all of you sort of combine really well, and we can all see that on the pitch as well as off it as well. With playing in the conference and dropping down, obviously last year at Billericay, this year with us, is that giving players like you, players like Billy, even players like say George McLennan, who was with Maidstone last year, Michael Phillips, is that the extra drive? It's like we want to take Wealdstone to the conference next season?
Yeah, I think the vision, especially the gaffer, chairman, Maynard, all those guys, was not to just make the numbers up and we'll finish, fourth and that'll be a good season. It was, we want to win the league. And speaking to the guys, I live local, so it's perfect. But that's where you're going to get conference players like Mike, George, unfortunately, with his injury, dropping down, because the project here is, we want to play as hard as we possibly can. All of us, we've all got that hunger. For whatever reason, there's a lot of players that didn't have great seasons last year, and that's where the gaffer's been brilliant, because he's put that nucleus together, and you can see like the hunger there. Every game, people are desperate to play. If you're not in the squad, and once you get your place, you got to look after that shirt. Dijon's come in, I think, 3-2.
3-2.
So yeah, fantastic, and I can be happier for him. He's been out in the cold, been frustrated, but now it's his opportunity, right? I've got to get back in, and that's what you need. So ultimately, for us to be successful as a team, to have that, which is what we have.
Obviously, you mentioned Dijon there, he's a young striker, back in the team, of course, from after pre-season. Obviously, he's going to be trying to get a spot in the first team, but you're doing coaching. Do you teach him anything? Not too much, obviously, but do you teach him things on the pitch, like training and stuff? Yeah,
I think I had that when I was younger, where I had older players speak to me and look at these things in the game, and look, if I was his size at 20, his build, his speed, those sort of attributes he has, he's going to go far. I think it's that self-belief, that confidence to before the game, when he's come on and scored late on the game, I can see before he was a bit frustrated with himself not starting. I'm injured, thinking he should come in. He made the difference. He was the one that made the difference. And there's things that we've got experienced players across the board, but for me, if Dijon goes and scores 15 goals, happy days. That means Willesden got 15 goals. We're close to our goal winning the league. So anything I can do to help, I'll try and do that for whoever wants it. Some lads, don't want it. Fair enough. I'm not going to enforce it, but some lads do. So, what you can do to help, you can do. And I did mention the coaching as well. Mm-hmm. Are you doing your badges or something like that? I've got my UEFA B. So I've got that already in the bank. So it's just kind of next future proofing, really. I think it's really important as a player. But at this level, you need a job. You need to kind of have plans, and I'd like to stay in football. So just getting ready. So. As and when. It's not forever. You hang them up, then you look at different opportunities, really. Well, brilliant. We're going to go to Joe Ringer and Eric Lopes now. They're going to tell you a few things about some of the players in the dressing room.
Me, probably.
Joe, 100%.
Me, definitely me. I'm not going to shy away from that, it's definitely me.
At least he knows.
Connor, Greeny, them two together, Sheps.
I'll give Sheps, I was about to say that.
Them three together, they're probably funniest. Did you see the Coke Denim War? On Tuesday.
No, I didn't see it. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And he's got that little Gucci bag, innit? Comes with everything. Well, not Stevens. Sheps plays a lot of country before a game, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Not a lot of them are brave enough to put their playlist on the speaker. Greeny or Sheps, them two. But it's not bad. It's all right. Can't really stitch anyone up.
Yeah, we're going for Sheps though.
Yeah.
Don't try to shy away.
Connor.
It's gotta be him.
Connor Smith. Send him in. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He gets on to me all the time. To be fair, me most of the time.
What?
Couple mistakes in training, he's always on my ass.
Mendy
or
100%.
Mendy or Michi.
Or
They normally travel together, don't they?
Or
Athlete's late a couple of times.
All three of
them. Them three. To be fair, the coach journeys are mental. I don't really think the only time someone slept was Oxo, and he got knocked out of Weymouth. It's pretty loud on the coach.
Ooh, most consistent trainer.
Who's always hitting top bins?
Mendy.
Mendy.
I'll give it to Mendy.
Mendy does well in training.
Yeah, 100%.
champs for.
I thought you were gonna say different outcome in general. I was gonna say Mizzy, but
Mendy's rapid, probably a sprinter.
yeah.
I tell you what, Connor Smith was doing some bit of rugby tech.
Yeah, do you see that? Yeah.
Them lot of doing.
And Greeny as well.
Couple of
Greeny
them,
looked decent
bit
as
of
well.
rugby players there. Bit of Gaelic football. Gaffer's on that. Gaelic football. I don't know. Me. I'll go for me again.
you?
Yeah, no. Definitely me. Definitely. I've not got a lot of flair, to be honest.
Hardest trainer.
I work pretty hard. I'm gonna go with me. I'll go with me again now.
Wait, hardest
Third
trainer.
time.
I'm actually trying to think.
Me. Me. He doesn't think it's me, but it's definitely me. Definitely.
I'm actually trying to think now. That's actually a good question.
Mate, I was doing my extras before I came out. Tell you what, Deej and
Deej,
Ashley, they go training in the mornings a lot.
Every day, yeah.
Pretty much every day. So
So good then.
they work hard.
Dejan's a tank, innit?
Yeah, he's a beast, isn't he?
Who loses the most stuff? Who's always leaving us? Denon loses his stuff quite a lot. Billy. Clifford.
Who left their stuff on the bench? Sheps leaves some of his stuff on the bench. Billy leaves his boots.
Yeah. So all of them left like their little GPSs
Yeah.
on Saturdays.
Yes, he's got lost.
Probably Shepherd. On Tuesday he was asking for an underarm out of nowhere.
It's Macron.
Macron. Yeah, but the socks are cut anyway, so that's not really.
Yeah.
What, shorts are cut already?
Yeah.
Come on now, Stones in it. Pre-cut socks.
Who gets bored the easiest?
I think there's not a lot of coach journeys though, so we're not really we're only really training.
What about in training? Yeah, what about in training? Who gets just like who starts daydreaming and that?
Start daydreaming.
So I was bringing up like irrelevant stuff.
Relevant stuff. There's irrelevant stuff. A lot of them joke around, but I wouldn't really say.
It's irrelevant.
To be fair, everyone's pretty switched on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
We want to win the league, so we're switched on all the time.
We've now got a few questions for Ross that have been sent in from some of the fans on social media. We'll start with Instagram for you, Ross. This one's from Lee Sharp 99, and he says, "What's your favourite goal you scored for the Stones?"
Not sure. Really. Probably. No, I can't remember any of them. Probably actually the one in the FA Cup was a nice one. Away at Maidenhead recently, because it was like a tough game, and obviously if we could have held on, that'd have been brilliant. But yeah, it was a nice one. Plucked it out of the sky, and obviously got a quick finish off. And yeah, they're always nice, those FA Cup goals.
Yeah, lovely touch and a lovely finish at a pivotal time for us there.
Appreciate
One from Nick Dugard on Twitter. He asked, "What advice would you give to young aspiring footballers, particularly those that haven't made it yet at pro clubs?"
I think generally just fail. No, honestly, I think you learn so much from failing, and I think people nowadays are worried about I've misplaced on a pass and missing a shot, and I think you're going to miss them. That's football. I think then you just get back onto it. That was the one bit of advice I got late in my career, and that really spurred me on to understand and get that concept in my mind. I think if any young player can get that in their mindset, talent will get them so far. Hard work and being not afraid to fail. That's what I would say anyway.
That's great advice, that is. This one's from Daniel Reen on Facebook. He said, "How far do you think this Willstone team can go?" I think you touched on that already, but
yeah,
what do you
I think winning the league, really. I think having a really good trophy run. I think they're the two goals that were set out at the start of the season, and have obviously a decent FA Cup run. Obviously failed, but I think the nucleus of the team we got, the boys, the camaraderie, the banter, it's always flying. Nobody's safe. It's good. I think we've world to oyster. But we have to understand it's still November, so yeah, it's not done yet.
obviously I did actually ask a similar question in terms of the trophy or promotion to Jerome.
Yeah.
How would it feel to take Willstone to Wembley in a trophy run?
I think it'd be amazing. I think personally, I'd rather win the league.
Yeah.
That's me. I think. Yeah, cup games are wicked, but the season's a long season, right? We win that, and we get Wealdstone. I think it's as high as they've ever played. They've ever played higher
Since '88, it would be conference.
Exactly. Yeah, so to do that, that'd be sweet.
Brilliant. This one's from Jeremy Albert on Twitter. He said, "What are your views on plastic 4G pitches, having played for Sutton on that type of pitch?"
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think at first I was a bit like, being a knee injury person, I think it wasn't actually that bad. Depending on the 4G, of course, it's not actually that bad. Yeah, it's not as bad as kind of you think. Personally, I way prefer grass.
Yeah.
Of course, but it's not a too bad of a substitute.
That's fair enough. This one's from Flynn Duncan on Instagram. Simple one. Who do you support? What team?
Man U, yeah. So I've had the glory days. It's tricky times right now. It's tricky times.
This one's from Steve LTFC1 on Twitter. He said, "How are you finding life at Wealdstone, and what is the best moment of your career?"
Yeah, absolutely loving life at Wealdstone. I think, the boys are good. Obviously, I'm the oldest, so enforcing fines and the banter's decent. Like we've got some good lads in the changing room, and best moment in football. Probably winning the league with Welling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. This is the last one from Simon Bain on Facebook. He says, "Appreciate it's side before self and promotion's the big aim, but have you set any personal goal, tally or targets for this season?"
Yep, 25 goals, all comps, and winning the league. That's it.
Brilliant. You're getting there with 11 already, so 25. That's a pretty good target to have. But anyway, Ross, thank you for coming down and being this week's exclusive interview on Stonescast. And we'll be back for the November edition next month of Stonescast. But until then, see you later.